Welcome back to Eye of the Storm. Sir Jim Ratcliffe has caused a little bit of maelstrom of news, where he said the following: the United Kingdom has been colonized by immigrants who are draining resources from the state as the ones of the country facing profound political and social and economic challenges. Let's listen to him.
Issues of immigration with people opting to take benefits rather than working for a living. If you want to deal with that, then you're going to have to do some things which are unpopular and show some courage.
And has this government done that?
No, I think they I don't know whether it's just the apparatus that hasn't allowed Keir to do it, or he's maybe too nice. He's a nice. I mean, I know Keir is a nice man. I like him, but. It's a tough job, and I think you have to do some difficult things with the UK to get it back on track, because at the moment I don't think the economy is in a good. You can't afford you can't have an economy with 9 million people on benefits.
It has to be more than that, doesn't it? Because if we remember, Joe Rogan said there was somebody who discovered, it was Gavin McKinnon. He said that the Middle East population, there's so much inbreeding, and then they come to the United Kingdom and they come with their inbreeding, and the inbred children have serious deficiencies, which now makes them rely on the NHS to treat and take care of. Of course, you have the legal immigrant who are going to be relying on benefits. You have the illegal immigrant who get free housing, free healthcare. The system is taking in too many people. That's what he means by being too nice. It's more than 9 million. It's far more than 9 million.
And huge levels of immigrants coming in. I mean, the UK is being colonised. It's costing too much money. It will cause. It'll cause.
Of course, it's been colonised. Now, you can see the reporter is already trying to push back, even though what he's saying is true. But what's it called? I think there's a term called reverse colonization. Colonization in reverse. The guy is already trying to push back against it. But this was on the London Underground. Look, Louise Bennett, 1966, from Jamaica Labriche. It's a book. What a joyful news, Miss McD. I feel like my heart going to burst. Jamaican people colonizing England in reverse. By the hundred, by the thousand, from country and from town. The shipload, the plane load, Jamaica is England bound. They pour out of Jamaica, everybody's future plan is to get a big time job and settle in the motherland. What? What an island, what a people, man and woman, old and young, just pack their bag and baggages and turn history upside down. Well, it's supposed to be English, but look at it. So it's supposed to be a poem written in 1966, but the Transport for London system, the mayor of London, Windrush, whatever that means. What's the Windrush? The Windrush, isn't that the ship that brought all the Jamaican Caribbean countries? Yes, Empire Windrush, the ship that brought one of the first group of West Indian immigrants to the UK in 1948. Windrush generation. What is wrong with deporting non-British people? So is he lying? Let's finish. Let's listen.
Well, the UK has been colonised by immigrants, really, isn't it?
Is there any doubt about it? Non-British, non-British. Come on, you just go through the whole thing, and of course, this is a very, very, very small sample. But if you watch these videos, you see that a lot of the people who are supposed to be participating in videos are supposed to be British, but they're not. They are from places other than England. So why does Sir Jim Ratcliffe have to prove what he's saying? There's nothing to prove. They celebrate it. They posted it on the London Underground. British Council, Transport for London, Mayor of London, Windrush 75. What's that? Is that Army Council?
I mean, the population of the UK was 58 million in 2020. Now it's 70 million. That's 12 million people.
You met recently with Nigel Farage, didn't you?
I did.
Do you think that they would be a kind of a good government if they were to?
He met with Well, saying that England, Britain deserved the colonization, right? Well, the beauty of colonization was that one, the countries which were colonized were brought forward into the 20th. They were advanced. There was more benefit than demerit. Net. Let's not lie to ourselves about that. And two, the British left those countries. The British left. But would any of the immigrants, legal or otherwise, voluntarily leave the United Kingdom to go back to their shithole countries? No, they bloody wouldn't. That's why it's a colonization.
To win the next election?
I think Nigel is an intelligent man, and I think he's got good intentions, but in a way you could say exactly the same about Keir when Keir came in. But, I think it needs somebody who's prepared to be unpopular for a period of time too.
I like that. That's Lord, HH 1488 behavior. What he's saying is that you need to be prepared to make drastic unpopular decisions, meaning that these people, they have to go back. These foreigners, they all have to go back. Send them all back. Send them back. Send them back. So let's see what Simon Jordan says about it. It's 30 minutes. I don't think we'll go through a lot of it. But let's see.
United. Sir Jim Ratcliffe claims the UK has been colonised by immigrants. Condemned by fan groups, anti-discrimination charities and the Prime Minister. Should Sir Jim now apologise? Because how important...
No, he's not apologising for saying the truth. So that's kind of the problem. The question is, people don't, or the issue is that people don't react to what the truth is. They only react to how it makes them feel. The question, what he's saying here, was it denied by Sky News? Was it challenged? Did anybody challenge it? And even if it was challenged, did he not prove his point? Is he not correct? Is he wrong? Or is the information wrong? Is the information incorrect? No. So why does he apologize? Why does he have to apologize for saying the true thing? Look at John Cleese. John Cleese had to go around and apologize for saying that London is no longer an English city, and that's how he got the Olympics. Since mass migration has turned London into a city that is no longer English. Where is the lie? California Bayes moved to the US more than 2 decades ago, having grown up in Somerset. He ran from the country. I'm not sure what's going on in Britain, or let me say this, I don't know what's going on in London, because London is no longer an English city. Where is the lie? Then he's roundly criticized, why is it 8 years apart? Sadiq Khan. Sadiq Khan is a Pakistani, for God's sake. Londoners know that our diversity is our greatest strength. Has the diversity work for India? Did it work for Pakistan? Why do you want to be diverse in your own fucking country? How about that? Cleese's comments come 8 years after the comedian made headlines for similar remarks. Okay, so that was this. Saying London felt like a foreign city. It is. And that English culture was disappearing. That's true, if it's not gone already. So where's the lie? I want to hear Simon on this.
Neutrality to the public brand and the image that you represent. 8 million in 2020. Now it's 70 million. That's 12 million people. That's according to Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Now it's 70 million. Before it was 58. That's 12 million people.
Yeah.
He's listing the population in 2020 with the number from the year 2000.
Yeah, those numbers wrong.
So the Office of National Statistics estimates that the population of the UK was 67 million in mid-2020 and 70 million in mid-2024.
He's got his numbers wrong.
So that's 3 million of a difference, not 12 million. So we need to put Sir Jim right about that.
Yeah.
He talks about economic strain in the UK. This is Ratcliffe, one of Britain's richest men, who moved his primary residence to the tax haven of Monaco in 2020.
Okay. The government is taxing wealthy, productive people in order to pay for a permanent underclass, shoveled up by migrants from dirty third world countries. That's the meaning behind all this. They want to be able to take loans and just keep creating this permanent underclass and tackling the people who are actually productive.
United's website, meantime, celebrates the fact that Manchester is a city famed for its embrace of immigrants. Mm-hmm. So tell me, after you've heard Sir Jim talking on Sky News, what's your reaction?
So let's pare this back a little bit. I think the term of colonisation is probably clumsy. But if you look at the...
But it's not incorrect. It's clumsy, it's slightly hyperbolic, it's unwieldy, but it's not incorrect. Migrants, third world migrants, celebrate that fact. We talked about it. They've been talking about this in 1966. And the London Underground have capitulated.
The underlying sentiment. Put aside the analysis that he's misquoted some figures. because the population in 2000 was 58 million. The population in the UK is 70 million in 2025, which means we've had a 21% increase, 20 to 21% increase in our population. The population of Europe has gone from 728 million to 744 million, which means Europe as a continent has had a 2% increase in population. You then distill down the German population increase, the Italian, the Spanish, the French. No one has had a population explosion like we have. So to go to the sentiment about the population, irrespective of whether he said 2020 or 2000, he is right. The population explosion, however it's manifested itself, has created a strain on this country. Then you go to the
that whole fact. Like, so what do you apologize for? Are people supposed to apologize for speaking the truth?
sentiment of the open border policy that various governments have deployed in regards to people coming into this country, and you look at that and see the challenge. So he's not wrong to say 9 million people on benefits on the welfare state is a challenge for this country. He's not wrong to say that foreign-born residents of this country make up a disproportionate amount of people on benefits in this country. He's also, if you look at his history, and I'm not defending some of the things he said because I think colonisation is a strong terminology, but you could ask certain people around this country.
It's a wrong terminology.
You could ask certain people around the country that might hold that view. If you went to towns like Bedford or to Luton, if you went...
Oh, this guy is talking. Bedford, Luton, Auckland, Rotherham, come on, man. What are you talking about?
To the towns surrounding Aston Villa Stadium, where a particular community decided that an Israeli football club weren't to come to that particular stadium.
One of the many.
See, this is a problem. Once the guy starts talking, once the guy starts giving you facts, you're like, oh, stop talking. Come on. You're not ready for the conversation. You don't want the truth. You just want to be outraged. There's a difference. All they want is the outrage.
Brilliant things you do well in this show is your choice of words. And I'm not buttering you up, but that's why people love you. The way you express yourself, and people identify with you on that.
Yeah.
What all this attitude? We'll talk. Let's talk. We're talking.
Choice of the word colonisation. He's
hang
put
on.
up his words here.
But you haven't let me finish my
Settling
point.
and establishing control over the indigenous people of an area.
But you haven't let me finish my point. What I said...
Language matters.
For God's sake. Okay. Control over the indigenous people. Let's, British mayors, 3,000 mosques, 180 Sharia courts or councils. Every school in the UK is required to teach lessons about Islam. And please, don't even start by saying that Britain is a secular country, not a Christian country. I'll show you why. King of England, full title. Here we go. His Majesty King Charles III, by the grace of God, Allah, King of the United Kingdom, King of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and of his other realms and territories, head of the Commonwealth, defender of the faith. What faith is that? The faith. So England is not a secular country, it is a Christian country. That's what that is. The faith in that title is Christianity. It's nothing else. So you have by the grace of God. Not Allah, not anybody else. But you have Mayor of Oxford, Mayor of Luton, Mayor of Oldham, Mayor of Rochdale, Mayor of Sheffield, Mayor of Blackburn, Mayor of Leeds, Mayor of Birmingham, Mayor of London. We had a Pakistani Prime Minister, for God's sake. Or was it Pakistani? Indian? What's the difference?
Certain people, first of all, he's not a politician. Second of all, Keir Starmer is a snivelling coward, because Keir Starmer said in his speech at this time last year, this is a country full of strangers, right, which people then indexed back to the Enoch Powell speech, right? And because there was political capital or political shrapnel in that, he pared back from that conversation and apologised for it.
Let's talk about
Jim Ratcliffe is not a politician.
He's not a politician.
So he doesn't need to
apologise.
apologise.
Why is he offering this up?
Because he gave an interview and someone asked him a question about the state of the country.
He's the face of Manchester United.
No, he's a shareholder of Manchester United.
Simon.
He's a shareholder of Manchester United.
He's the face of Manchester United.
Well, that's your view. I don't think he is.
June. He don't go for himself. He lives in a definite area that doesn't have the problem that real actual British people are facing. He doesn't know, he doesn't realize that Britain is not safe for most British people. The towns, the major city centers are taken over by filthy third world migrants. But he doesn't need to feel the brunt of that because of how well off he is. He probably has private medical care. He doesn't rely on the public health system. He doesn't rely on the public school system. He doesn't rely on all these social trappings that the government will open up to migrants. So he doesn't feel the brunt of what he's trying to fight against. what Sir Jim Ratcliffe said is true, and he's not denying that it's true. He's just unhappy with the word colonized. It's bigger than the word is the truth is bigger than the words which convey them. I can tell you that much.
From the Glazers, but we hear from Sir Jim.
And I think that if you
and in this instance,
what we're doing with what we're doing,
way out
what we're
of
doing
line.
with Jim Ratcliffe, right, is we're playing the man and not the points. Move past the colonisation argument and say clumsy.
You can't move past
Yes,
that.
you can because it's clumsy language.
And that's the point.
Yes, you can because it's clumsy language.
But that's his main point.
But look at the underlying assertions that he makes. Look at the underlying assertions. Do we subscribe to the view that this country's increase in population as a complete outlier against the rest of Europe?
Only one. This guy is hardly British. 2 British people. Look at these other people. They come from other countries. These are not British people. This is colonization. So the question is whether colonization is good or not. But you cannot deny that it's happening. There's no denial of that.
Is something that is working well for this country? No, it's not. Do we subscribe to the view that ultimately 9 million people being unemployed or being on benefits of some shape or description on the welfare state, and a significant proportion of that being foreign residents that now live in this country, is something that we should continue to support? No, I don't think we should. If we look at the Jim Ratcliffe track record, by the way, Jim Ratcliffe up until 2017, 2018 was the 3rd highest individual taxpayer in this country. And I think he's entitled, with due respect, to decide whether he wants to continue to be domiciled in this country and where he wants his tax dollars to be spent.
I don't disagree.
If he disagrees,
he's got his words crucially wrong here.
Well, I think it's a clumsy word, but the underlying
immigration isn't colonization.
But the underlying message and the underlying sentiments.
He knows, but as the establishment, as the matrix, he has to push back and say that word color. You can see that this man has spoken 3,000-4,000 words explaining the point, but he is still hung on the word. One word. This man is explaining to you what the word means in the context of what's being said, the connotation, not just the direct literal meaning which his producer had to send him. But he's telling you the point and the impact of the word, what the message the word is trying to convey across to the listener. But he's stuck on the word. Why?
And we can zero in on the colonization side of things. And I make the point again, right? If you walk around certain parts of this country and you look at certain towns, and I use the Aston Villa example as a particular case in point, where we have a particular community that in part wants to have Sharia law in this country, that in part decided that Israelis and Jews were not permitted to go into that particular part of the country. There is an argument that some people would make, not necessarily me, that looks like a form of colonization. Now, I wouldn't use those terminologies, and I don't think Jim Ratcliffe should have done.
You mentioned Sharia law. It doesn't operate as a parallel legal system in the UK.
Oh my God, this guy, man, fuck this guy. Leave a like, subscribe, man. I can't. He doesn't want to have the conversation. He doesn't want to have the conversation.
Has no binding
but
legal
certain-
jurisdiction
but certain people-
according to
certain-
the Home Office.
certain communities-
British law always...
According to Home Office. It's so dumb. He doesn't even... So there are people who just don't want to have the conversation. So they pretend to want to have the conversation, but he's talking and you're interrupting. Is it not true? Is it not true that there was a riot in Birmingham and the Aston Villa people said they're not going to allow people to come? There are parts of the town where women cannot walk freely. Katie Hopkins talked about this, for God's sake. But what? She's a racist, so therefore what she's saying is not true.